In a low stance defensively, matched up with Mitchell. Fires up a three. Kelsey Mitchell!
There was more to the Fever's matchup with the Sun than just victory. It was a moment of fork in the road. This contest carried a different kind of weight in a season that was filled with setback after defeat. The Fever were in a strong position to make the playoffs, but their margin of error was eliminated after consecutive defeats to the Wings and Mystics, two teams lower in the standings. Furthermore, the first half gave the impression that the plot had already been written.
So it was over. The season was done.
The attack paused. Connecticut increased the lead steadily. The scoreboard revealed a harsh reality. Indiana appeared to be cooked. At home, the fans sensed it. It was worn by the bench players. Every turnover, every miss. The season seemed to be slipping away in real time, even though there were still 9 games to go after this one.
Step back three-pointer. Left it short. Mitchell now 0 for 4. Run out. Rivers explodes!
Of transforming gloom into drama. And the Fever, and Kelsey Mitchell in particular, brought us a record-breaking comeback on this day. And we may consider this to be the most significant half of the Fever's season in a month. And a real turning point for Caitlin Clark. To set the scene, I must play this well-known clip before I discuss what transpired.
This is what the greatest thing about sports is. You play to win the game. Hello? You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it. That's the great thing about sports. You play to win. And I don't care if you don't have any wins. You go play to win.
For many years, this renowned Herm Edwards line has endured. The goal of the game is to win. It's straightforward but profound. No justifications. It is all about winning, regardless of the score, injuries, or appearance. You arrive, you battle. And the reason I bring this up is that the Fever had every reason to quit this game. Once more, I had the impression that someone was carrying a voodoo doll bearing the name of Indiana. Sophie Cunningham suffered yet another serious injury. She collapsed in midair, clearly in pain. She remained on the ground for a few seconds before trainers helped her get up. Her expression conveyed the fact that she was unable to bear her entire weight on her leg. It wasn't a bruise or a bump. This was a severe matter. It couldn't have come at a worse time. Without Sydney Carlson, without McDonald, and already without Caitlin Clark. One of their emotional leaders among the floor spacers, Sophie, was now marginalized. The annoyance was evidently boiling over. This was no longer only terrible luck. The pattern seems cruel. It's the type of season where something else is torn away each time momentum increases. The family of Sophie had had enough. They immediately took to social media to criticize the WNBA for inadequate player protection and officiating.
We got Sophie's sister Lindsay and her mom Paula. At WNBA, maybe you should focus less on fining players for commenting on your poor officiating and more about hiring officials that are able to call a consistent game, protect your athletes. Pathetic. Praying for you, Sophie Cunningham. And Sophie's mother, Paula. Hartley is a disgruntled player having trouble everywhere she goes. She's playing mean and plays out of control.
Additionally, this felt like the final straw for a squad that had already lost Ari McDonald, Sydney Carlson, and of course, Caitlin Clark. In what should have been a must-win matchup against the league's poorest team, the Fever fell behind 21 points. Nothing was functioning. There was no life to the offense. The enthusiasm on the bench was flat, and the defense appeared shaken. It was practically palpable through the television. Both the team and Fever Nation were prepared to pack it in.
One of your starters goes down, one of your leaders goes down. And after that, it did feel like the morale of the team was down for the first half, and they went into halftime being down 20 points. And I thought, I was on live, you guys heard it from me, I was like, okay, this game's done. Like, they just can't get out of it. The morale of the team is done. Seeing Sophie go down, like, maybe this team just doesn't have any fight left in them. And I was actually ready to give them a pass as well. I was like, you know what? It's been a hard season. And at some point, you might just have to throw in the towel and and be like, you know what, we will get after it next season. It is what it is.
Everyone seemed to have silently transitioned into the acceptance stage of the grief process, as if the season had already ended. A write-off. There are 9 games left on the schedule, but there is no hope left. The Fever then came to life. Fireworks weren't the beginning of it. It began softly, like a flicker in the darkness. A 3, a floater, and a free throw from Kelsey Mitchell.
In a low stance defensively, matched up with Mitchell. Fires up a 3. Kelsey Mitchell!
The body language changed abruptly. In the first half, the same shots that had clanged off the rim began to fall. That 21-point deficit had been reduced to 14 by the 537-point mark. The deficit had shrunk to only 11 by the end of the third quarter, and the building began to buzz for the first time during the night. The tilt of momentum was palpable.
Boston backs down Hartley. Aaliyah Boston, excellent post position.
The Sun was still in the lead, but Kelsey Mitchell was going to blow it wide open because of the Fever.
Essentially, I thought, well, I wasted my day watching this game and going live for it. Then cue the end of the third quarter. The momentum shifted and the Fever started chipping away at this enormous lead that the Connecticut Sun had on them. For the majority of the game, I would say that the lead was around 15, 16 points, and they got it down to 8 points, and Kelsey Mitchell started heating up.
Kelsey Mitchell caught fire with the season at stake. 8:38, Mitchell makes a 3-point shot. She attacks the rim and makes free throws on the next possession. The Sun's double-digit lead was suddenly vanishing. Then Lexie Hull joined in, like a spark spreading. She let it fly and hit wide open in the corner. She chose the ideal time to birth after weeks of grueling shooting problems. All at once, the Fever were alive.
Howard, assertive, 2 and the foul!
The audience was yelling. The bench was standing. Now, every property was important. Odyssey Sims became a one-woman disaster, driving the lane fearlessly, reaching the line, and racking up 9 free throws out of pure aggression. Despite not scoring a single point, Brianna Turner, who had hardly been in the rotation, came in and played tenacious defensive minutes, finishing with a +10 on the floor. Kelsey Mitchell pulled Indiana all the way back within the last minute of regulation. 84-84 on the scoreboard. Tie game. The impossibility had become a reality. Overtime. On the sidelines, Stephanie White gave a fist pump. The Fever bench yelled as if they had already won the game. It was a genuine comeback, and it eventually became Indiana's. After 20 seconds, Kelsey Mitchell made a layup while cutting to the rim. A 3 a minute later. Another trip down, next one. Back-to-back deep daggers. Not only was Mitchell attractive, she had a fiery temper. The Sun shook. They abruptly rimmed out the same shots they had buried in the first half. Hesitant passes, tight shoulders. Indiana, meanwhile, smelt blood. Then the time arrived. Bree Turner kicked it to the corner after driving hard to the basket and drawing the defense. Calmly, Lexie Hull got up, let it go, and buried it. Dagger, swing, and Fever up for good. 99-93 is the final score. The biggest return in the history of the franchise.
As a matter of fact, this was the largest comeback in Indiana Fever franchise history. And it was funny because there were so many people cheering in Connecticut for the Indiana Fever when all this was happening. There was actually just so many Fever fans in Connecticut. As a matter of fact, when Marina Mabrey went on the court in the beginning of the game, they booed her. Imagine getting booed in your own arena.
Yes, the league's poorest team was the opponent. Yes, Indiana had to defeat that team, but what really made the victory memorable was how they did it. Conquering yet another significant injury. With a home audience that traveled and yelled louder than the Sun's own supporters, they dug out of a 21-point crater. This victory wasn't the only one. It was a matter of survival. It was faith. It was unique. It was also a very courageous team effort. 38 points, 34 in the second half. Kelsey Mitchell, a true masterpiece. After scoring just 4 points in the first half, she changed the course of the game on her own. That's what it means to not give up. Lexie Hull, who had 8 points, 7 rebounds, and the game-changing three-pointers that ended her slump just in time. She delivered every hustle play that was important. Odyssey Sims, constant pressure, 9 free throws, and courageous drives. She gave off the impression that she was determined to see the season through. Brianna Turner, no box score glory, but plus-minus doesn't lie. In a game decided by 6 points, plus 10, when the Fever most needed it, she kept the defense steady. With 14 points and 13 rebounds, Aaliyah Boston is the cornerstone of the paint job. The kind of victory that energizes a locker room was this one. The kind of victory that can change the course of a season. And it obviously did, as evidenced by the fact that it wasn't simply in the box score after the game. It was evident in the responses. Real-time tweets from injured teammates expressed their support and delight in the accomplishments of their squad. And there was an abundance of emotion in the locker room. Relief, gladness, pride. There was more to this than one victory. It was about demonstrating to themselves that they could weather the storm and emerge stronger than before.
I'm so proud of you guys. I know that sometimes it sounds like just a word when we talk about being resilient, but it's not, man. It's how we live. Yep. It's how y'all live, and it's a tribute to you. It's a tribute to your connectedness, your togetherness, your toughness, your mindset. You never give up gritty attitudes. Like, that's what it takes. That's what it takes, and we will never be counted out. Yep. Because that is worth gold. That is worth gold. Kels, goddamn, baby. Put us on your back.
It was evident on every face in the changing room. This one was important. It was more than simply a party. Relief was felt. It was pride. It was faith flowing from a team that had been beaten up throughout the season. Perhaps the most significant game of the Fever season will be this one. Indeed, games are still available to play. Indeed, a lot can occur both positively and negatively. However, we can all agree that it would have been extremely devastating to lose this one. Consider it. With the Lins coming up 3 times in the last stretch, and one of the most difficult closing schedules in the WNBA, the squad suffered its 3rd consecutive defeat to the league's weakest team. Everyone would have sensed that their season was probably over if they had lost this game.
To see Sophie Cunningham go down with injury amid all the other injuries that the Fever have suffered, it really felt like it was over. I mean, before the game, Stephanie White said she hopes Caitlin Clark is back at some point in the regular season. Then you see Sophie come down and you see them getting blown out by the Sun, and you kind of think, what's the point?
Because this is the reality. If the Fever are eliminated from the playoffs, they cannot force Caitlin Clark to return to the court. 4 pointless games. No team puts their franchise player at risk. Additionally, Stephanie White didn't exactly offer supporters cause for optimism when she was questioned about Caitlin's situation before this one ever tipped off. It didn't feel like she was nearly back. It was cautious, reluctant, as if there were still many unanswered questions about her homecoming.
Now that I'm watching it, instead of reading what she had to say, I'm still on my theory that I don't believe Caitlin Clark come back. For her to say she's hopeful that she's going to come back, that's the game plan. She didn't seem or look very confident in stating that Caitlin was going to come back. This is a very interesting conversation she's having with reporters today.
Caitlin Clark is still not giving her all during team practice. Furthermore, she cannot be put back in the fire to salvage a failing season. Let's face it, not when her future was on the line. However, that does not imply that the door is shut. A return to the playoffs is definitely possible if she can get back to full practice shortly. And that's precisely why this victory was so crucial. It continues to mix the Fever. When the games count most, it allows Caitlin to return. And anything can happen when the postseason rolls around.
And maybe you guys don't think today, quote unquote, 1,000,000% for sure saved the Fever season. I think it did. I think it was huge for the season. I think the Indiana Fever, unless the Sparks come back in this game, are probably going to make the playoffs. And Is there an argument to be made that it's actually better for the Fever to have lost this game and to not make the playoffs? Sure. But you know what? As a sports fan, fuck losing. Fuck tanking. I want to see the Indiana Fever play in the playoffs because I think Caitlin Clark's going to be healthy for the playoffs. I think Caitlin Clark is going to be healthy for the playoffs. I think that spell, those last 3 games, where I don't think anyone's going to play in that last Lynx game unless it's needed. I think that Mystics and Sky game back to back, I think she's going to become, even if she's a little bit iffy, no matter what, if they're going to make the playoffs, I think she's coming back for those 2 games. And then with Caitlin Clark there, even a 75% Caitlin Clark. People are saying, oh, Caitlin Clark, she's going to get surgery in the offseason. People are like, oh, she needs surgery in the offseason. If she needs surgery in the offseason, go and play. Go and play in the playoffs. Because with Kelsey Mitchell, the way she can score, you have a puncher's chance. You always have a puncher's chance.
The ability to compete with the greatest has already been demonstrated by this Fever team. The Liberty, the Dream, the Mercury, and the Lynx have all been defeated by them. But let's face it, they're elevated to a whole new level when Caitlin Clark is well, or even largely healthy. And you can be sure of one thing if you followed her career. Caitlin doesn't only perform during important events. They belong to her. You most likely clicked on this video for that reason. Because Caitlin Clark in huge games is can't-miss basketball. Fever Nation, this is the reality. There's hope. And without this return, there wouldn't be any hope. Yes, that was against one of the worst clubs in the league. But when your season is teetering on the edge, it's not about who you beat. It's about figuring out how to live. Because you play to win the game, as Herm Edwards once stated. The Indiana Fever are down 21 and have every excuse to give up. Declined. They engaged in combat. They had faith. And they prevailed. And suddenly it all seems feasible once more. You deserve a goat in the comments if you're still here because you've stuck with me. Thank you for viewing.